The modern Western fan is too immature for anime and manga and actually entertainment overall. They only consume entertainment looking to be offended or validated, but not to be entertained. When episode 4, season 3 of JJK dropped, there was a divide in reception between Eastern Japanese fans and Western fans. Japan was upset at the choices of music for certain scenes, the missed opportunities for great character moments being glossed over, easily dismissed, and the episode lacked the emotional impact that the manga provided. While Western fans loved the hype music in the episode because of the great animation and action fights. And when Japan rated the episode low compared to over here where it was rated high, you had reactions like these. Japan rated it so low because the women actually fought back when being assaulted.
That is so stupid.
Coincidentally, they're pissed off that we love the episode where a strong woman beats the shite out of an average Japanese misogynist. The super misogynistic society that loves controlling women and respecting elders even when it's openly abusive hates seeing a woman destroy that kind of thing. I'm not shocked. There are even Westerners who said they don't like it. We know what they are, many naoyas. And this is why I say the modern Western fan is too immature for really anything, with this Japanese fan getting it. Foreign fans are all just the types who want to project their own ideologies onto it, huh? You guys don't need to watch anime ever again. I really don't want anything to do with you. And to be honest, I kind of share the same sentiment. I can't imagine having a conversation with someone telling them what you didn't like about an episode, and to them it all boils down to misogyny, low resolution, retarded thinking. If anything, it's the opposite. Japanese fans wanted to see more of Maki's character moments being fleshed out that supports her motivation in the first place, and not just skipped over to quickly get to the action. And I think these two comments from a few Japanese fans sums it up well. Man, the way foreigners and Japanese people perceive things is seriously off base. While Japanese folks are watching the work as a whole, most foreigners are just eyeing the movement. They completely ignore the content and go full brain dead like, ooh, god tier animation, only hyping up the visuals, shit tier BGM, baffling original source changes, random anime original additions, overdone direction, and Shinichi-kun casually taking a stroll while his buddies are on the brink of death. It's because in the West, a lot of folks don't read the original manga, and they see the source material as nothing more than a rough draft version just for adaptation purposes, thinking that it's only through the interpretation and embellishment by the anime staff, including for some reason the English translation adaptation staff, that grand world's strongest language crew, that it finally becomes a complete work, and there are people out there living in that worldview. And this is something that Torishima, Akira Toriyama's RIP editor, also stated about this topic, but gearing it more towards Dragon Ball. People overseas have only watched the Dragon Ball anime, haven't they? I want you to read the 42 volumes of the comics 10 times thoroughly before giving your opinion. That's because you need a certain level of reading comprehension to read manga, or rather, if you don't have the skill to read manga, there are manga you can't understand. So people who read Japanese manga, well, they see various things, so they understand. And I think this is all manifested in the differences between the reception of this JJK episode, how Japanese fans perceived it versus how Western fans did. I mean, when it comes to America, our literacy rates are just rapidly declining in the garbage. I'm actually surprised at how many people can't read at a certain level. I know Kai Cenat recently went viral for this reason.
Spontaneity. How do I pronounce that?
Spontaneity.
What does that mean?
Dichotomy.
A false dichotomy. What does that mean? A dichotomy.
And I'm not trying to shit on him, I'm actually congratulating him for trying to further his reading abilities, but it's shocking nonetheless. And also made me think, maybe this is why dub has become more popular with current generations, even when it comes to still moments that are without any action. It seems over here more viewers have a sour taste to those type of episodes. Like in Solo Leveling, when Jinwoo's mom finally woke up, it was a moment that made me appreciate the show even more. It made me feel something and connect it to the story, but turned out to be one of the lowest rated episodes of the series, maybe because it lacked the action it was known for, I don't know. Which it is kind of funny because Alien healing his mom back to perfect health served as the foundation and reason for becoming so strong in the first place. And seeing his mother wake up was supposed to represent everything he's been working so hard for, and coincidentally, solo leveling is not really popular in Japan as it is with Western audiences. Another thing that plagues Western fans is the entitlement we have. See, me, I acknowledge anime as a Japanese entity, and just as much as I acknowledge kung fu movies as a Chinese entity, intended for those audience, and if we over here enjoy them, that's a bonus. Just like Western movies are intended for an American audience, but is highly praised and admired over in Japan.
ではね、このシングルアクションアーミー打つ技をやってみたいと思います。
But then you'll get comments like these from Westerners regarding anime. Bro thinks Japanese are the intended audience of anime anymore. Buddy, the 2010s calling you home. And this type of shit just really makes me shake my head, but whatever. Just an example of the spoiled brat child syndrome that has been conditioned into people, even in their adult years. It's the equivalent of a toddler being stuck in the mind phase. Me, thinking every toy is theirs and crying in the toy aisle when their parent doesn't buy them every toy they want.
I just want a bicycle!
Why are you yelling at me?
Because over here, we have been encouraging and perpetuating the childlike state of mind and stifling any type of maturation process. Main character syndrome, thinking everything must be made for us. Another thing is the fiction versus reality debate. People being able to consume a story without immediately mapping their own ideologies onto it. Finding it offensive when certain topics or themes are introduced or portrayed in a way that doesn't exactly match their own morality. Hence the slave topic in anime, but especially in Mushoku Tensei. The anime people love to hate more than anything else, where Rudes buys a slave, and this caused people who don't even like the series to freak out and caused the author to speak on it. I don't condone slavery myself, so I like to apologize, never apologize. But it's true that I wrote Rudes as someone who has no aversion to slavery. I've written it in a mild setting so that it can be accepted, so there's no point in justifying yourself. Now me, I'm able to just watch or read a story without this occurring to me. Like, I don't take it seriously in this way, where my immediate thought is, how dare they not do slavery how it should be done? I just view the story for what it is, naturally accepting the world being delivered to me without having this reflexive reaction like, oh my god, this is offensive. Maybe it's due to the over-coddling of everyone from childhood to adult years in current day, where everyone is raised like the bubble boy, so certain themes are like germs to a badly developed immune system. But me, I don't need the slavery theme to be delivered in a one-dimensional narrow lens. I don't even think about it, I just consume the story. If anything, the slave Rudes purchase is happier more than ever after being bought. I'm watching an anime right now, Easy Going Territory Defense by the Optimistic Lord. Shout out to the latest episode for giving us a great scene. Yes sir.
Hell yes.
Where the main character buys a slave, and the slave is treated much more better than he was when he was free under his father, being much more happier, and when given the option of freedom, he decides to stay loyal to his master.
これはバン様との絆なのでむしろ見せます。
もし嫌になったら公爵期に帰っても奴隷契約は解除できるみたいだし。
僕は一生をバン様に捧げると決めています。
And this doesn't cause me to react like a child where I start mapping on real world logic, but for others, it's impossible for them to do that. Another reason why the Western fan is too immature is the identity issue that manifests itself in the identity obsessed fan, or IOF. Those who are only concerned with the identity of a character and nothing more. And even when a certain identity does not exist, they must force feed others to view it in their way, or speak it into existence even at the cost of somehow rewriting the author's intention. When Fujimoto came out with the series of short stories, 1726, one episode was about a guy who catches a disease, then when he wakes up, it caused him to turn into a girl. I'm sure all of you know where I'm going with this. Now me, again, when I watched this, I thought this was funny, hilarious, especially certain scenes.
ただいま。
A very compelling story. Fujimoto, with his wild imagination, is able to execute ideas like no other, develop very interesting characters, and make a fascinating story from it that's fully entertaining. But others only tune in for one aspect: How can I make this validate me and my ideology? If you think this episode isn't about being trans, you gotta rethink things, because Fujimoto would do that and has done that. He's like the wokest manga author still working today. So again, there are those who will immediately latch on to something for ideological purposes, feeling the need to acclaim a character like they own it because it furthers their worldview, where they can't just watch something that has a supernatural element to it, a phenomenon that makes for an interesting concept without saying this represents woke in some way, having a complete disconnect, incorrect, inaccurate interpretation of what people mean when calling out woke or political correctness, something that's the antithesis of art, so both can't exist in the same realm. Woke turns art into propaganda and destroys art.
Message!
So me, when I watch this, I'm able to escape in a world where this supernatural phenomenon exists, enjoy it for the substance of the story without relating it to misogyny somehow like other users did. Complete immature children who must claim something as woke to further their woke ideology into popularity somehow. It's like when people try to label the Gachiaka, the author, as woke, claiming she's non-binary, something that she never claimed to be herself, but again, these types must always claim fictional characters, or now they moved on to claiming actual people in real life as fitting their headcanon somehow, even though the author herself recently stated cleverly and humorously as not being such.
Duh.
I remember when watching the anime Sanda about a boy who could turn into Santa and full-grown adult due to his lineage whenever wearing the color red, and him liking a girl who's in his class, and I think she likes him when he's an adult, and how this complicates things and makes him think how should he operate. And throughout this, I'm not trying to rationalize or make sense of this story and these characters, like this is some sort of allegory the author intended to relate to this or that, approaching entertainment like some activist academic who must find a way to map on the real-world ideology. I'm just enjoying the story like a healthy person looking to be entertained, and that's all. And you see many instances like this with modern Western fans displaying their immaturity when it comes to anime, even like my dear friend Nokatan saying, Nokatan is trans, by the way.
What?
The latest episode of JJK with the character Kiara being introduced, and Mel even stated as so in the episode,
It's a man, baby!
but because he comes off very girly, dressed in feminine clothing, the iOS came out trying to claim another character instead of just being able to relax and enjoy the story. And yes, Kiara is trans. Can we move on now already? What more do people want? An official statement? This is so effing silly. Another one. His hand on her hip. Mappa said they will not be misunderstood, with somebody correcting the statement saying his hip. Then someone responded to them, what a big problem, huh? Then they respond back, it's not, just that people don't know the difference between their own headcanon and what's actually canon. Then we have a Japanese user speaking on this episode. Kiara Senpai, the friend of Hikari Senpai, is a male. He was a short-haired, beautiful boy during middle school. He fell for Hikari Senpai and then became like this. The voice actor is Yuki Sakai-kun, male, but he only sounds like a sexy female voice actress to me. Then of course, the immature, ideologically possessed fan response. Japanese fans being transphobic as always. Then with this user, I think, given a pretty good explanation and correction on this. The character represents an archetype known as Orokonoko. I myself am this archetype. Point is, this character archetype is commonly hijacked by the transgender communities in the West and painting with a trans brush. Orokonoko means cross-dresser, by the way, a male in drag. You Westerners think you can inject your cultural nuances into the cultural nuance of other cultures, but you can't. That's both gay and retarded. Then he explains further. To understand this, you must understand the Orokonoko trope and archetype. The character themselves will be perceived as trans by a Western audience, but in fact is not trans in the eyes of the culture that actually produced the character. These characters often put on a very feminine appearance and often allude to their feminine personas but self-prescribe as boys in spite acknowledging their feminine internal tics. I understand the etymology, nuance, culture, and critical practices of this archetype, and I myself even am this archetype openly so for years. And I noticed this even with the term queer as well. It's left vague so it can easily be applied to anything and anyone at a moment's notice. It's meant to claim something under an ideology. For them, when labeling something as queer, they force themselves to believe this character or author must share the same particular set of beliefs, ideology, like it's a religion. They have an unhealthy attachment to these characters and project their own headcanon onto them. For instance, Maki must be a feminist like me because she took down a clan of men because of my patriarchy, even though they mistreated Toji as well. But that's an inconvenient fact, so they choose not to acknowledge that. I even remember an article claiming Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter is queer because God forbid a character be flamboyant and a psychopath without being used as a tool to further an agenda. Like I said with Kei Udana, the Gachi Akira author, when I said, I bet if she realized the term non-binary people were trying to headcanon her ass, she probably would react like,
What kind of shit is that?
and in a sense, she did. Same goes for the term queer, I bet. But again, due to the American-bred narcissistic personality, we suffer from main character syndrome, so we assume everyone across the world shares our same beliefs, language, so if a character looks a certain way, it's because they must be what we assume them to be, because what else would they be? It's not like other cultures exist with their own terms for certain fashion, personalities, language, way of being, etc. No, again, that just gets in the way of their agenda, their ideology, because at the end of the day, remember, that's all that matters to the immature, modern, Western fan. But that's all I have for this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. This is why I'm concerned with studios like MAPPA partnering with Netflix, not just licensing, but developing stories with Netflix with the aim to cater to a global perspective. To me, it will dumb down, lower the quality of storytelling when catering to the immature Western fan, instead of prioritizing the Japanese perspective that craves other things in anime and more, which is why I loved anime to begin with. It's different and has its own identity, separate from Western stories I also loved when Hollywood had creators and not activists. And if more and more Japanese studios cater to the minds I mentioned in this video, goodbye to the excellent, exceptional storytelling and welcome to zombie, brain-dead, activist-oriented, casual fan mentality, here today and gone tomorrow, easily distracted, like what else is on? Something I wouldn't want for anime. Also, if you haven't checked out my music, links in the description. If you love those Samurai Champloo lo-fi mellow boom bap vibes, then my music is definitely for you. And if you want to support me and the content I create, consider joining my channel, becoming a member. It's much appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Free think. Peace.